Hello, my name is Jay Ice, and I'm going to show now how to use IwSpline to go ahead and be able to construct roads with it. Okay, and I'm using the same level that I showed how to generate all the foliage, that we've got in here. So let's get started, and we'll go ahead and kind of line up here a little bit. Drag an IwSpline out. Okay, grab the first point. Let's get a little distance on him. Then let's go down here to where I've got some road meshes. And over here we go underneath mesh and materials. And let's grab ourselves a first road mesh. Okay, now it's out there on it. And so let's start making our road. And we'll just drag him out there a little ways. Something like that. And I don't quite like that, so let's go ahead and angle it a little and bring it back, and let's make ourselves a new part of the road. And you can see here the way the tangent is working, we're just kind of going all over the place, but that's all right. We're gonna straighten that out some, and we're going to straighten it. We'll straighten out get these tangents straightened out a lot here before too long. And we'll go ahead and make ourselves a little curve around like that. Grab ourselves another segment just by holding down the Alt key, which is standard with Epic. Has nothing to do with IwSpline. It's just something I didn't know when I first started messing with splines, and it certainly is handy. And I am all about speed and performance. So, and apologize if you can hear me breathing a little heavy. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. Anyway, for what that was worth, let's go ahead and finish this up. Get us one over to here, and we'll come back around. Now, it's generally best, okay, when dealing with the spline component, when we're going to close the loop, okay, we want to, most of the time we want to do something like use a short curve, okay, and kind of line it up ourselves instead of depending on the engine to line it up so much, okay. In other words, we've got a flat line here, and right now our tangent on this is curving us around, and we don't want that per se. So we'll drag this over there, and I got the Z axis, but we'll just yank that up. And I don't care that we can't see it, because we'll go ahead and use IwSpline to take care of that for us. The only thing I'm really concerned with right now is kind of getting it to line up before we close the close the loop off. And it may be best just to go ahead and grab him, shift him over a little bit, something like that, and we'll back it up some right there. That should be able to close fairly easily. And then we come down into the spline controls. We're going to use 2 of them in here to make sure I didn't mess up any of the Z-axis points. We're going to tell IwSpline to reset all the Z-axis points to what the Z-axis is for the first point on the spline. And as you can see right there, that just moved us down here at the end. Okay. Now the other thing that we want to do at this point in time is to go ahead and close the loop. And you can see that's not looking too great right there, okay? Because it has to do with the length of this tangent over here on point 0. Really gets itself messed up. So instead of messing around with trying to fix that manually, first thing we want to do is let's just go ahead and lock all of the lengths of each spline segment to the length of the static mesh. And we can do that by clicking this button here of lock SPMLC to SM size, okay? And then we've got that taken care of, and you can see all of a sudden our spline looks, the mesh on the spline looks a lot better, okay? And I'm going to grab this particular tangent, okay, and let's straighten him out just a touch, okay? Then we'll come back down here, and we're going to close out the spline and see what that looks like. And of course that looks a lot better. We could go ahead and grab this. We wanted to, you know, straighten that out just a little bit coming out of our curve. And if you will, if that's all a person wants to do with the road, we got a road made, okay? And you know, if you're undecided on what mesh that you want to use, well, fine. Let's go back up here to where we put the static mesh over here, okay? Let's grab a different road mesh. Put that in. See how that looks. Now, these two road meshes happen to be fairly close to each other in size, so this doesn't look horrible. But on the other hand, we could sit here and go ahead and click this and see we redistributed the spline points again based upon the size of our static mesh, okay? So that you've got a constant size going through there. And if we didn't like that one, we could come over here, we could grab this one. You know, I mean, because I haven't done, the only thing I have done to these meshes, and I made none of the meshes, okay? One of the meshes came with a desert environment I purchased off the marketplace. Two of the meshes come from where I purchased off the marketplace. The other, this road mesh right here, okay, you probably recognize it because of the fact that it just comes out of the road track generator, okay? And then if we put this guy over here, and then we say that we want to redo all the splines points, you know, they reset themselves to the size needed to be. And we could do that with this one, even though it doesn't theoretically look all that bad, okay? There's no reason, you know, to be scaling or stretching or squishing them out unless you just want to. But one way or the other, that is in essence a road. Now, of course, we could do some other things that I showed that we could do in before in a different video, but we could go grab these 4 control points, say right here. We could lift them up, you know, do something like that. Get ourselves, grab this guy, you know, I mean, if you're making a track for a motorcycle, you might want something to be that steep, but probably on a car you probably don't want, but that'd be a nice jump coming off for a motorcycle if you had a different form of mesh, something more like that dirt track mesh that I had. If we pop that in real quick and take a look at it, that would be far more like what a motorcycle would look like. But let's go ahead and go back to what we had before. And what we can see that then the only thing we got to do to get our landscape to come up was we just come back down here. Okay, and into the landscape, IwSpline. All of the categories in the blueprint begin with IwSpline, so you don't have to be wondering, you know, is that something that came with the spline blueprint or, you know, whatever. And then we just tell it to adjust the landscape, and as you can see, the landscape came up, and, you know, we're rocking and rolling, if you will. And that's probably still a little bit too steep. So we'll drag it up and get a little better spline on that. Do it again, and, you know, we have made our little mesh. We've got our road. If we wanted to come over here for an example and grab that spline point, hold down the control key, grab these other spline points in here. I really, really wish that Epic had introduced the shift so you could just have a start and end. Okay, and apparently I missed grabbing that guy. We just move him down there, you know, relatively close, and do the same thing here for our car track. Do the same thing over here and just kind of get it a little bit smoother. And of course you can set those to anything you want. and now we have a depression, a gully, whatever you want to call it. And we could come back into, I mean, there are times that I actually, in my own game, if I want to make a canal, this is exactly how I'll do it. I'll put on basically a square mesh so that I can get, square walls or something like that. Pop it into the level, depress it underneath the landscape, and just, use this landscape thing, and bang, everything comes down. And in truth, that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, we've built the road. In another video that I'll be putting together, I'll be showing how to take this road such that you can have objects moving on it. But for this video, we've got our road. We've adjusted the landscape to conform to the road. We've got a road that's not stretching and skewing, and it certainly did not take that long to build it. And anyway, I wish you a great day, and I thank you very much for watching this video. Goodbye.